So what's the goal? So I'm walking around with all these inner children and I'm having all these trauma reactions and I don't even know I'm doing it and I'm showing up and all my core issues are coming out. Well, the goal is to become a functional adult. Well, what's a functional adult? Well, think right down the middle of all those core issues. The functional adult esteems himself and others from a place of inherent worth. The functional adult is able to protect itself with healthy, appropriate boundaries. The functional adult accepts the imperfection of myself and others without using it to abuse others or as an excuse to violate others. The functional adult is able to ask for needs and wants in appropriate ways and to give help to others in appropriate ways. And the functional adult is able to moderate and contain expressions of self, again, appropriate to the situation. So even right now, I'm containing because there are 35 people on this call and there are, I think, 70 something more who bought it. If it were a group of like 4 of you here in my office and we were doing this in an intensive, I'd be sharing more from my own story about this stuff, but I'm containing because I'm a functional adult and all of my stuff doesn't need to be out on the internet. So the goal is to become a functional adult. So how does it happen? Well, it starts with boundaries because it's really hard for me to go, oh, I see that I feel less than. I better just start feeling same as. Well, that's not how it works. You can't just start feeling same as or, oh, I see now that I think I have to be good and perfect all the time. And the reality is I'm imperfect. I think I'll just start being okay with being imperfect. If it were that easy, I'd be out of a job. All right. It's not that easy. But you know what you can do? Even if you still feel less than, even if you still feel bad or you still feel like you have to be perfect, or even if you still struggle with this or that, you can change your behavior. You can still change your behavior. So the thing you can start doing today is boundaries. Boundaries are the behavioral changes that set us up for new experiences of self and other. When I start to change the behaviors around boundaries in relationships, I start to experience the relationship itself differently. And as I experience the relationship itself differently, guess what? My internal working model of self and other changes. It begins to shift. Now, I'm not saying start walking around going, you can't talk to me that way. You quit wearing purple socks to the office. That's not what I'm saying about setting boundaries. The most important boundaries we ever set are internal boundaries that we set inside ourselves that may never even actually be spoken aloud to another person. And what I'm talking about here is what we call protective boundaries and containment boundaries. Protective boundaries are my responsibility to protect myself from you. Containment boundaries are my responsibility to protect you from me.